Did you know that in 1971, the Dolphins and Chiefs played a playoff game that nearly went to triple overtime?
And that game seemed to go on forever.
After 82 minutes of game time, it's still the longest game in NFL history, but in some ways, it pales in comparison to the longest game ever in other sports, like baseball. In 1920, the Boston Braves and the Brooklyn Robins played a game that went 26 innings. Surely, after all of that, somebody won the game, right? Wrong. The game ended in a 1-1 tie because it got too dark. Ironically, that game lasted less than 4 hours, the pitchers must have been absolutely dealing, and it's probably safe to assume there weren't countless pitching changes and TV timeouts over 100 years ago. The longest MLB game by time happened in 1984 between the White Sox and the Brewers. That 25-inning game took over 8 hours and had to be completed over 2 days because of an American League rule preventing new innings from starting after 1 a.m. That rule didn't apply in the National League, which meant that the Cardinals and Mets played the longest continuous Major League game that ended after 25 innings at 3:13 a.m. Eastern Time in 1974. On the hardwood, the longest NBA game ever took place between the Indianapolis Olympians and the Rochester Royals in 1951. That game went to 6 overtimes. But if you're looking for the longest NBA game that has, actual video footage, we have a 5 overtime game between the Seattle Supersonics and the Milwaukee Bucks. Dale Ellis had 53 points and played 69 minutes for the Sonics, but the Bucks got the best of Seattle in the end. The longest NHL game took place in 1936 when the Red Wings beat the Montreal Maroons in a 6-overtime classic, and Detroit eventually went on to win the Stanley Cup. That beat out another 6-overtime game played between the Maple Leafs and Bruins 3 years earlier. More recently, there have been 3 5-overtime games played: the Flyers and Penguins in 2000, the Blue Jackets and the Lightning in 2020, and the Dallas Stars and Anaheim Ducks in 2003.